Hello everyone. Welcome to our fourth speaker event with Mr. Jayson E. My name is Anush Naik, and I'm an outreach captain at FTC Robotics Team 5773 Ink and Metal. Before we begin, we'd like to introduce our speaker and basically explain how our event today will work. Preet?
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to today's event. Starting off, I'll talk a bit more about Mr. Sri. So he's the VP of InfoSec, a technology security education business. He's an author as well as an ethical hacker. And he has a list of accomplishments, like working for the Secret Service in 2007, as well as robbing the wrong bank in Beirut, and almost getting away with entering the Pentagon, and a world increasingly reliant on technology. Mr. Street knows what he's doing to keep the data safe. So with that, thank you so much, Mr. Street, for coming today. It's an honor meeting you.
And it's nice meeting you as well.
Yeah, and I think we can get right into it.
Right. Well, for the record, then everybody talks about the wrong bank I robbed in Beirut, Lebanon. No one talks about all the banks I was supposed to rob successfully, and I did. I robbed a lot more banks successfully than I was supposed to than just the one by accident. Okay. So I just want to establish that. It's like I only did that once.
I'm sure that must have been a fun experience.
No, it was not fun. It was it was not a fun experience at all. It's fun to talk about now, but no, it was not pleasant at all during the actual 4 hours I was trying to keep myself out of the Lebanese prison. It's like, so yeah, that was not comfortable.
Wow. So hi everyone, my name is Christian. I'm one of the software captains on Team 5773 Ink and Metal. This event with Mr. Street will be an open-ended hacker chat. So essentially what that means is that he'll be fielding questions from students and some that our team has created. And we'll essentially be asking him questions on his work, any career tips, and anything else you guys are generally curious about. So let's get this started. You'll be able to submit and upvote questions on an online Q&A software called Mentimeter, which one of our team members will put in the chat soon. And our team will select questions from the audience and also based on our own research and read them off as they come. So to get started, we'll start off with some of our questions. So before some of you joined, Mr. Street was talking about how hacking is more of an art, and it's not just reliant on computers, but it can be a mindset that you apply to life. Could you sort of reiterate that for those who just joined? I find that particularly interesting.
Yes, it's like I get tired of people. I get so many messages, and so I'm not like tired as in annoyed, but tired is just exhausted from so many people that contact me and say, "How do you be a hacker? I want to be a hacker. I want to. How can I be a hacker?" And I'm like, no, I can't. No one can teach you how to be a hacker. It's like what they're usually asking is, how do I make money at hacking? How do I make money in career? Which is totally different. Hacking has nothing to do with computers. It's a mindset. We were all born hackers. It's like it's that innate curiosity and passion. The two defining things I think that makes a hacker is a person who still has that curiosity. It wasn't beaten out of and driven out of them while they were in growing up. It's like, and they still managed to keep that childlike questioning and that passion for projects and things to do. That's what makes a hacker. It's like what you choose to do with that ability and that way, that mindset and the way you think, that defines other career paths. But there are people who are hackers, who I would consider hackers, who probably don't even work with computers or are not very familiar with how a computer works. It's like we can't let people, especially that are already established in this community and this industry, dictate who's a hacker and who's not. It's like no one can tell you if you're a hacker. No one can tell you you don't belong here or you don't belong in this industry or this community. It's like, that's ridiculous. I tell people, because they call them gatekeepers. And my basic response to that people gatekeeping themselves, gatekeeping other people, is we're hackers. Screw the gate, jump the fence. It's like, why is that even necessary? So yeah, so I don't believe in the mindset that you have to have qualifications to be a hacker. You already are one. It's like, if you like to do an industry or make money at it with your passion, and your part of your passion is computer exploration and knowledge and going through networks and learning vulnerabilities and learning different parts of a system, or going after bad guys, which was one of the things that drove me the most when I first started out. Then computer security, it's like information security is something that you're definitely be interested in, and they need more hackers in that industry. It's like, because people think very differently when they come from the industry background of information security than a hacker.
That's really interesting. I know, especially for a lot of people here, and even myself included, like when we hear the word hacker, we typically associate it with someone, who just works on a computer trying to infiltrate different networks or systems. So I find that definition really, I guess, unique. What are some of, I guess, examples of hackers that don't fit the traditional mold that society thinks of that you think would still count as one?
Oh, there's so many. I always say Leonardo da Vinci is the Uber hacker. He is the best example of a hacker that I can ever give is Leonardo da Vinci. He created an armored car in the medieval times. Seriously, before there was a car, it's like he created an armored vehicle. He created scuba gear. He created a helicopter and an airplane that was powered by a fly and actually worked. It's like it was bigger than the fly. It's like the fly already flies, but it was able to use aerodynamics to make it support that wingspan. It's like fly. It's amazing. And the artistry and the way that he explored and he painted, it's like, that's a true hacker. It's like developing art, developing techniques and viewpoints and sharing those and educating others about that. And because I think that's another key cornerstone for being a hacker. It's like, it's one thing to learn things, but you have to share that. That is the reason why I'm here. It's like, I will always try to accept the opportunities to share information, to speak, to educate, because that's what it's about. It's not just learning something, but sharing what you know to help others. And a couple other hackers, I always talk about Ada Lovelace. She is one of the first hackers. It's like she created a computer programmer. She was the first computer programmer. Before there were computers, she was the first computer programmer. Hedy Lamarr, one of the worst things that you can say about Hedy Lamarr when you talk about Hedy Lamarr is you refer her as an actress first. That is ridiculous and insulting to her. She was a hacker first. And she did some movies. The reason why you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS is because of Hedy Lamarr. Wow. It's like she helped with submarines, the U.S. Navy and their submarines. It's like she was an Uber hacker as well, and people want to just go about her physical beauty, which is ridiculous and insulting. It's like she was so much more than just a two-dimensional character on the screen. So there's so many other Tesla was a hacker. Edison was an inventor. I don't like Edison, but it's like I also don't filter. So be very careful with the questions you ask me, because I will not. I'm not like cussing. It's like I just tell you the truth. It's like I don't. I have nothing to hide, and I own everything that I say. But yeah, so
no, that's totally fine. That's actually we'd actually really appreciate it if you didn't have a filter, because we really do want to hear your honest thoughts.
Oh no, I do not. Trust me. It's like I've had some very awkward conversations in a lot of different places. It's like one of my favorite ones was talking to the CISSP club in Beijing, and someone brought up NS spying, and I went off on a whole rant about that, which I made some people uncomfortable in the room, but whatever. So it's like, but yeah, so it's like, no, I do not filter. But yeah, but that's basically that topic. So I will be quiet so you can ask another.
Got it. So I guess you mentioned that like as people grow up, they sort of lose this inherent hacker mindset. So do you have any tips on how to cultivate it or how to make it even stronger?
Yeah, I say one of the key things is you just uh, it's determination. It's like I am not the smartest person out there. I'm not the most inventive person out there. I know in a moment's notice, I can tell you 10 people that are smarter than me, that are better at what I do personally, in my field than I am. It's like, but I'm a high school dropout who used to live behind a dumpster. One thing that I never did was give up. It's like I never let reality get in the way of me trying to accomplish something. Before I knew what a computer dealt with computers, it's like I knew how to change things, how to make things different, how to change around and just have that drive to keep going. It's like, and failing. And I fail a lot. That is one of the keys to my success is that I keep failing so much. And I do not call them losses. It's like there's a good Christian rapper that I listen to called Lecrae. And one of his lyrics, he talks about like, I take a lesson, not a loss. It's like when he takes the L, it's like it's a lesson, not a loss. It's like I take a lot of lessons. And so they're therefore I'm not losing, I'm learning. And it's like, and I just keep that going. And so I think one of the things you do is like you figure out what you want to do. It's like not what makes you money. That's a dead end burnout path. It's like what makes you happy. Because I promise you, on your deathbed in the centuries from now, you know, it's like whenever you are, it's like you're not going to be looking back at your life and going, I wish I made more money. You're going to be saying, I wish I had more time with friends. I wish I did more of this. I wish I experienced more. I wish I helped more. I wish I did these things more. But money will not be part of it. So learn to just keep going and trying to figure out what part of this industry you like. There's so many different varied sections. You know, there's forensics for people who like numbers and cryptography and stuff. As well, there's people who like networking. There's firewalls and IDS systems who can do TCP packet and stuff. There's malware reversal. There's secure coding, secure DevOps. There's project managers for that who like Office, but they like the hacking side of it as well. There's every different kind of aspect. It's like they all pay well. But every job that I've taken, I've made an estimation. This is how much fun I'm going to have, and this is how much money I'm going to make. And I have to make this much money to have this less fun. You know, it's like, so, and there's one time I got offered 3 times what I was making, still more than I'm making now. And it's like, but I would have to wear a tie every day. I'd have to wear khaki pants or, you know, the other tacky dress slacks that men are supposed to wear. And then I'd have to wear, I wouldn't be able to travel as much or give talks. It's like, and I was like, no, thank you. It's like, I don't need that. It's like, so because I love what I do and I found someone to pay me for it. And that's the goal. The goal is not making more money. The goal is doing what you love and having someone pay you for it so you can keep doing it. It's like, and you can feed people and you can feed yourself and you can, you know, afford gadgets and things. That's what the key is. So, but don't pigeonhole yourself yet, especially if you're in high school, especially if you're younger. It's like, don't say, well, I have to take this path. We get so, I remember being young. It's like a long time ago. But I remember a little bit, and it was like I was so stuck, and this is what I'm set for. And it's like, and it's just, and trust me, my road was very dark. I was not a good person until around 25. It's like I started trying to get better. But in my 20s and especially in my teens, it was like yeah, it was bad. It's like, I mean, not like I didn't murder anybody or anything like that, and I wasn't a robber or anything. It was just very rough. I did get in a lot of tussles, but I never started them. I do not like violence, so every person had to hit me first or initiate physical violence toward me before I responded. Then I made sure they never wanted that to happen again because I don't like violence. And so. But yeah, so it's like, but I was very close-minded. It wasn't until 25 or so that I started realizing I could do more. There was more to what I was going. I shouldn't just narrow myself. And I am constantly branching out now, even now. I'm still branching out and going, well, why am I just defining myself here? Why don't I just go forward? And why don't I try this path? It's like, why don't I do this more? So that's one of the key things. It's like, so just figure out what you want to do. And it may not even involve computers. It's like, I mean, you're all here for hacking, so it's probably going to involve computers. But it doesn't necessarily, don't pigeon yourself now saying, that's what I have to do. That's a good way to make money. There are a lot of good ways to make money. It's like, but there's also a lot of fun ways to make money legally. It's like that you can do as well.
I like how to clarify legally. Yeah, but I think it is really like, I guess, an important viewpoint for like a lot of the people here to like know that just because they're interested in computer science doesn't mean that they should limit themselves to it. They should explore as much as possible. I guess, I guess like in your story, you said you were living behind a dumpster. How did you go from that to like doing what you love every day?
Well, I came from a very traumatic childhood. It was very abusive household. It was not pleasant, and my parents were basically against the Geneva War Conventions. But so I left around 16 or 17. I had to drop out of high school. I was on my path to become a lawyer and with a debate scholarship to a university. So that was, luckily that didn't happen because it's like I would have probably been a pro bono lawyer, you know, going after corporations or something like that and been very poor. And so I started off, my first big job, that big steady job was a janitor at McDonald's. And I was an awesome janitor. It's like, I did it for 2 years. I got, our restaurant got cleanest restaurant in the Southwest Texas region for 2 years in a row, because I was dedicated to doing it. It's like, and there's no shame in that. It's like, I was an effing good janitor. Whatever job you do it the best way you can. It doesn't have to be your last job. It doesn't have to be your career. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, you do it well. I was an effing great janitor. It's like, I didn't like it. It's like, but I didn't like dealing with food either. So it's like, I was better to clean. I'm on the spectrum. So being someone OCD and very obsessive about cleaning stuff, I was very good at that. It's like, I kept things very clean. So it was very well. It fit me very well. And it's like, and then I got into physical security because you could make more money doing that, but also because I liked the idea of stopping bad guys. I had, my whole life was geared toward me being a bad guy. It's like, I am surprised that I'm still to this day that I'm not a psychopath. It's like killer, but it's like, but I was beaten and treated in just the right kind of way and broken in the right way where I just like to help people. I just don't like bad things to happen to people. And I would like to help with that. It's like, and I just had that. I was driving today and someone pulled someone else in a road rage. They're like screaming at the parking lot. And I stopped at the light because I was about to go and pull in to see if that person was okay, because I was not going to let that guy keep berating them. And I want to make sure it didn't turn violent. It's just I do not like bad things happening to people. And I do not like bad people getting away with it. So I got into physical security. And I did that for a while. And then I went as a supplemental officer for a gang task force, still like physical security, but it's like I helped more closely with law enforcement and got shot at more. And so
Oh man,
that
that
was
must have been
not
like
fun.
very, very
No,
scary.
I have very good stories, no good memories from those times. It was a bullet going 2 inches from my right ear that gave me that made that night is when I gave my 2 weeks notice. I still have the bullet that was in the chamber in the pipe that was going to end me before my partner jumped him. So, but yeah, so I went back after that for 3 years. I went back into physical security, and then in '95 or '96, yes, I'm very old. I heard a commercial on the radio about doing support for computers. Well, I was the guy that everybody went to get a computer fixed. I was not trained on how to work on a computer. I just failed really good at learning, and it's like, or not, I'm not learned very good at failing. It's like, and so I had a computer, and I was like trying things. So I would fix people's computers, and then I was like, well, I want to go try that. So I tried, and I applied, and I was very good at it. And it's like, and while people were surfing the net and doing all their other things instead of just supporting the customers, I was learning, I was researching, I was doing more and more. And then in 2000, I learned at the IT help desk that I was at that a gentleman, Tim Smith, changed my life. The one pivotal point you can say that one person changes your life, and we all have those moments. Tim Smith changed mine by saying, hey, I hear you talk, and all the guys, when they have questions about a problem, they come to you. And I heard you talking about Sun Tzu and your sword fighting. It's like, because I've been sword fighting since I was 7, and your hacking stuff. It's like, I want to know, it's like, would you like to do information security? And I was like, what? This was in 2000. I was like, wait, you're saying I can do computers and security and no one shoots at me? Oh yeah, I'm in. That's awesome. So I then, for the first almost 10 years, I did nothing but blue team, the defensive side. And I highly recommend any person getting involved in this industry, start off blue team. Start off doing the defensive side, learning how things are built and worked and defended. And then I got into the red teaming part for about 3 or 4 years, which I was not very good at. I was very good at breaking in, but I didn't like the way that it was done, the whole process. So the last 5 years or so, I've been doing security awareness engagements. It's got the elements of red teaming, but there's more education instead of just pwnage. It's like, and so I do that now, and now I'm back to potentially being shot at again. So it's a very vicious circle that I've turned myself into. But yeah, it's been fun. It's like, but that's my whole career path. That's the short version.
Wow. So would you say, I guess, your key to success in finding and doing what you love for a living was how quickly you were able to learn and how you seized opportunities?
Yeah, I think the thing that I credit myself most to is I never let reality get in the way of me trying to accomplish something. That, I mean, really, that's my essence. It's like we define sometimes our reality, and we box ourselves in before anybody else has a chance to. We box ourselves into it, saying, oh, okay, I'm only going to be good at this, or I can do this. And it gets so enclosed where it's like we put ourselves in the box. No one else has to do it. It's like we're doing our own self-gatekeeping. But I try to be very unrealistic with my expectations of what I can do. I try to be very unrealistic because I have very low self-esteem. I wish I was good enough to have imposter syndrome. You know, it's like I have very bad self-esteem. So it's like, but I don't let that stop me, because realistically, it doesn't matter what I'm thinking. I know I can accomplish these things. And so that's what got me to this place, because realistically, a high school dropout who used to live behind a dumpster should not be where I'm at today. They should not have written already 2 books and working on their 3rd one and 4th one. They should not have been able to travel the world on just talking. It's like, so much less breaking into places. And I've broken into some crazy places. Yeah, reality has nothing to do with it. It's like, reality is what you make it sometimes.
Wow, very inspirational. And yeah, I think definitely, like, I guess, me personally, I can relate to it, where like whenever I think something is impossible, then it never ends up happening. But when I just try to challenge myself and like imagine what if it is possible, then I usually try much harder, and sometimes it works out.
Yeah, I think there was another song. I listen to a lot of rap music, and there was a song from NF, the letter N, letter F. He's an amazing artist. If you, the experiences he's had are like mirror so much, and his mindset is so similar to mine. It's very scary and affirming in some points. But he does a verse in a song called "The Search," where he talks about if you wake up every morning and you look in the mirror and you just see failure, or I'm paraphrasing, but if you just see failure, if you just see the downside, then that's all you're going to have. It's like we get locked into just seeing that, and then we create our own negativity. We create our own outlook, and it's like, and human bias, human nature is we tend to bias toward what our preconceived notions are. So if you expect to have a bad day, if you expect that things are going to go wrong, then yes, 9 times out of 10, they are going to go wrong. It's like you need to start understanding that in 2018, it was a very bad year for me. It's like it was it was truly horrible. And I remember most days just waking up and just starting it off with, I'm sad. It's like, and I just think it's like, I'm sad. It's like, or I don't know what, this is just bad. It's like, I feel bad. It's like, and I had this monologue in the back of my head. I have a very self-destructive voice in the back of my head at all times, thanks to childhood trauma that I've been trying to get better with. But it was very bad. And it wasn't until 2019, the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, that I started realizing that I could start saying, I'm sad, but I can make it better. And just finishing the sentence like that helped my outlook and helped me approach the situations. So it's like you have to change how you perceive your successes to be, or where your path is going to go, if you really truly want to go that way. Because if you want, or you feel like you're going to fail and you are going to just be unsuccessful, congratulations. That's very easy to achieve. It's like, it is very easy to achieve those goals. But if you can start saying, no, I'm going to have mistakes, I'm going to stumble and fall back, but I'm going to keep trying. Then when you keep trying, you realize, oh, it's gotten easier. And then you're able to accomplish more.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's especially relatable because, I mean, I'm sure like a lot of us haven't gone through like the same rough childhood that you did, but everyone sort of has this voice. Yeah, I mean, everyone sort of has this voice in the back of their head telling them that maybe they're not good enough, or maybe like others are better than them. So I can definitely see how your advice is especially relatable and helpful. One thing that I guess a lot of people are curious about is, what advice would you give to anyone who's interested in entering your industry today?
I would say if you're trying to get involved in the industry, have a basic understanding of, and this is always, a lot of people talk about, they want to do pen testing, they want to do breaking into stuff. But one of the things that you have to learn is, how does computers work? how does the network flow? How does a network diagram look? Where are the firewall access points? It's like what's an access control list? What's an allow any? What's a deny any rule? Things that are the basic cornerstones of the fundamentals of networking stuff. Learn those things, understand that stuff. It's the boring stuff, and it's atrocious. It's mind-numbingly bad to go through if you're not into that stuff. But it's a foundation that you build. Concrete is not pretty. I've never had anybody admire the appearance of a foundation, but everybody appreciates it, on their buildings, right? Everybody appreciates having a solid foundation.
Great metaphor.
It's like when they're on it. So it's like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, and it's sometimes you look at some of those foundations, it's like when there's erosions, they weren't the best. It's like, they do the job. It's like, but you can tell it's a little sloppy here and there. And that's fine. It's just the foundation. Learn the foundations of that stuff and then start building everything else from that. It's like you're not going to get to the penthouse and build the penthouse until you've got the foundation solid enough to withstand it.
I see. Yeah, I think that's also especially useful advice because a lot of people sometimes focus on like the end goal without building up like the necessary knowledge and foundation to get there. So yeah, thank you so much. So
no worries.
Yeah, now what we'll be doing is we sort of focused the first part of this, event on getting some life advice and, just advice from Mr. Street on how to excel in any field. And now we're going to be diving a bit deeper, specifically into the field of cybersecurity. And Anuj will be taking over the Q&A from here.
And one thing, one last thing, it's like, and I don't know the whole age group of everybody, but I just want to make sure it's like another thing about starting in the industry, it's like I always like to tell people is that there is a lot of people in the industry who do not want to welcome others, who do not like having new people show up. It's like not just any specific, just they don't like new. There's all the noob jokes. There's all the like, oh, Google it, or why don't you learn this yourself? It's like, why are you here? Screw those people. It's like you need to understand that they don't have a right. No one has a right to tell you that you belong in this industry. And so when you're looking for jobs, I tell people, and I tell regardless, it's like I don't know the whole makeup of the people in this group, but I'm speaking for me, and I tell people what I do is I channel my mediocre white dude when I do a job interview. It's like everybody should be able to channel their inner mediocre white dude. It's like when you go, because it's like especially a lot of women, when they see, and I've talked to several, quite a few that have said, it's like, oh, well, they're looking for this and they're looking for that, and I don't know this, and I'm like, so, but I don't know those things. And do you think that stops the mediocre white dude from applying? I don't think so. It's like you need to harness that energy. It's like they're not good for much, but it's like, they got that going for them, right? It's like, so you need to channel that. It's like, stop trying to like self-gatekeep yourself saying, if anytime I'm in an interview and someone says, it's like, no, but I can learn it. It's like, oh, that's new. That's a new one. It's like, that's a great thing to learn and something to start working with. And one of the best answers you can give an interviewer when it's something you're unfamiliar with, you're saying, look, I am a fast learner, and the best thing is I can learn the way y'all do it. And so I can do it from the get-go, do it the way that y'all would like it. It's like mediocre white dude power right there. It's like, I mean, it's like, I only use that power in that aspect because trust me, there's a lot of other powers that it's not very good for. But it's like, but that's the best one. When you're doing a job interview, do that, because too many people, what we need in this industry more than anything else is, and it's an overused word, is diversity. But it's not diversity is what we need. We need the differing outlooks, the differing people, the differing paths and backgrounds that they came from. You can't have too many different voices in this choir. You know, it's like, because trust me, we're all singing off key. It's like, so it's like, just, we need more voices and we need more culture and differences and outlooks, because how you were raised and how you look at life will change and direct your outlook in your job. And so you will look at things inherently different than someone from, like me, or someone from another background, or someone from another nationality, or someone from another age group. It's like, that's the key. It's like, because you come up with this information, because you've gotten this, it's like, and you've understood it, and you it's like, oh, well, why don't we do this? Because I remember when I was younger, it's like, we always try it like this way. So never discount that. That's not a weakness. That's one of your main strengths, is that uniqueness that you bring. And every person, I bring it, every person on this planet brings their own uniqueness. Don't let that be discounted by people. So if you're going for a job, that's one of the key things I recommend people to start off for, because interviews suck, and dealing with it and trying to get someone to hire you, it's worse than first dates. And trust me, those aren't much better. So it's like, so yeah, so you do it. It's like, and oh, by the way, you're in high school. It's like, it never gets better if you're like hoping for that to happen. No, sorry, spoiler alert.
All right, so now I think a new.
But you should know they're just as awkward and nervous and upset and self-doubting themselves as you are. So if that brings comfort, I don't know. But, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, so I guess now we'll be handing things off to Anuj to talk a bit more about your work specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we get into more the details of what you do for cybersecurity, we just had a question, and so it might be a bit funny, but basically, in your opinion, which movie has the least realistic hacking scene in it?
What movie has the least realistic hacking scene? Oh.
There's plenty of movies. I guess that.
No, there's only one. There's only one. But oh crap! You gotta test me on the filter thing. I didn't make this movie. Okay, I have watched it, so it's like, but there is I'm not saying anybody to go watch this movie, especially if they don't have the permission from their parents. But there's a movie called Swordfish with John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain scene where the hacker has to decrypt NSA and do an RSA password decryption under very stressful conditions. And he told John Travolta that he just saw the numbers. And I'm like, and it wasn't the actual scene, it was that part. That was what got me the reason. Like, I just saw it. The other part was totally gibberish and nonsense, okay? But the fact is oh, I just saw, I was like, that doesn't make you a hacker, it makes you psychic. It's like, they're two different things. It's like, it doesn't work that way. None of it works this way. It's like, this is not how this works. So that was the worst. It was a great bank robbery film that tried to throw some hackers in it, but it was a better bank robbery film than it was a hacker movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, then I guess with that, so one of the questions that one of the audiences had, or one of the people in the audience had was, what are your concerns as technology and internet usage becomes more prevalent and relied on in the world and in the future?
Well, first of all, I got held up on that. You said what's the worst one? I have to countermand it with the best one. If you want to see the best hacking movie that's been ever made, Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks. It's like those astronauts stuck up in space and then having to hack the systems and the bury things with just the stuff around them to get back home. That is the best hacking movie ever created. It's like that. If you want to understand what a hacker is, you show them that movie. It's like that was hacking. It's like, I think there was a computer, ground computer, whatever. So there's some computers involved, but that was hacking. So, but yeah, now, what was the question again? I'm sorry. When I get a path, I gotta finish that thought.
Yeah, no worries. So, someone in the audience wants to know, what are your concerns as technology and internet usage becomes more prevalent and relied on in the world and the future?
It's always going to be prevalent. What's going to be the issue, the main issue right now that we're having and will continue to have is, let's talk about, like, most people refer to hackers as criminals, right? It's like, oh, hackers that's totally bogus and stupid and wrong. I also don't believe in black hat or white hat. It's like, besides being, steeped in historic racism, it's like, it's just a bad misnomer. I don't wear hats. Look at the size of this head. No, it's like criminals throughout the ages have been very adaptive to finding tools to commit crime with. In prehistoric times, the person with the biggest rock was able to grab the food from the other person. Then they learned how to bow and arrows. Bow and arrows really took care of the swords. And then the crossbows came around. And then guns. Oh my gosh. America, right? It's like, there's plenty of guns now, giving them out like candy. It's like, sorry, that's a whole other rant. But the whole thing is, they commit crimes with the guns because it's a very easy tool to commit crime with. It's like, I've never been mugged. I've been mugged, but I've never been mugged by someone with a gun. And my first thought to them was, I wonder if he's an NRA member, or I wonder if he's a Second Rights Amendment activist. Or if I'm wondering, is he a gunsmith? Did he create that gun? Is he using that gun against me? It's like, why does he bother? Why doesn't he create guns and stuff, for hunting or artwork or something like that? Why does he have to use it to rob people with guns? It's like, no, he's a criminal using a tool. Computers have made crime very, very, very easy. So people who have no knowledge, no understanding of how the program they're using works, they didn't create the program. There are some ransomware programs and Trojans and all this malware that have support lines. They have help desk for people, for criminals, a whole criminal network for that. It's like, because there are some hackers that are criminals. It's like, but not all hackers are criminals, and not all criminals are hackers. But that's the point, because these people don't know how to use or how to create the tool. They just know how to download it, watch the YouTube video, read the instructions, and commit the crime. Doesn't make them a hacker. It makes them a criminal. And more criminals are going to have access to this. why bother trying to get out of my house, trying to rob you, go down the street, rob someone? You have to like usually drive. You don't like do it right in front of your house. You know, I mean, criminals are stupid. That's why they're criminals, or they, you know, or they be in white collar crime where the real money's at. So it's like, I mean, it's just stupid. They're not the brightest people, but there are a lot of them, and they don't have, and they're also lazy. They don't have to go out of their house. They can rob you no matter where they are in the country or in the world. You're not getting hacked by nation states or hacktivist groups. You're mostly getting hacked by criminals. I mean, some nation states are doing a lot of hacking. Got to watch out for Paraguay. Got to keep an eye on those people. They know what they did. But otherwise, it's like, it's mostly just criminals is your attack vector, because, and not smart criminals, just people who know how to run the tool. I see some of the scam emails that I still get that people about, you know, like, well, I've got your passwords, using an old password dump, and I'm putting this under. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, it's not even, it doesn't even, that's not technically accurate. If you're going to threaten me, at least be technically accurate. I expect a better class of criminal, quite frankly. It's like, I'm a little upset. So, I mean, that's the whole point. It's like, you have to watch out, because they can still get you. Just like a random bullet from a person that's jittery can still kill you. It's like these tools and these criminal tools can still do damage to your machines. They can still ransomware and crypt lock it and still do damage, but that doesn't make them more sophisticated. So that's the key thing to understand. It's like, the more access, the more internet, and the more it's spread out. Because, I mean, you got to understand something. And this is one of the things that I believe there are a lot of people that are doing criminal things, but who aren't criminal minded. I know, and see, I'm sorry, I'm not one of those, you know, this way or that way persons. My world is way more nuanced, because there are people, and I've been all over the world. It's like, I've been almost all the continents. I still haven't gone to Australia, and Antarctica doesn't want me. So it's like, I have not traveled as much as I'd like, especially the last year and a half. But I will tell you this. If you're a person in a country and you can only make $5, $20 a month to support your family, but if you can get internet access to a cafe internet access, and you can do some cybercrime or some spear phishing or some phishing emails, and you can get $100 within a week, it's not, I'm trying to be a criminal. It is, I need to feed my family. I need to take care of my community. It's like, I know there are places in certain countries where that criminal organization sustains the whole neighborhood, the whole community. It's like, and the people who run that, 100% horrible criminal gang lords. But a lot of the people that are the people, they would love to do an IT job, a legitimate, honest one. But if they don't have the opportunity, that's the problem. So the way that our society works is we're creating a lot of the criminals and then being upset with the criminals, because we're giving them internet and we're giving them this computers, but we're not giving them opportunities to grow. It's like, I've always said, my whole dream is to abolish the military. It's like the world's military. It's like, and use that like the Peace Corps, and start giving, because people, when you start giving them something to live for instead of to die for, things get better for everyone around them and you. It's like, so maybe if we spent more money trying to make people's lives better elsewhere, we wouldn't have to go over and make it worse on purpose. It's like, so I think that's a key thing. It's like, so we have to start creating opportunities for others and people that don't affect me. It's like people that I'll never see, people that don't help my comfort, won't help me progress in life. But it's the right thing to do. It's like, why don't we realize that? That's one of the things about this pandemic that irritates me the most is people are realizing I wear 3 masks. It's like, and I'm fully vaccinated, but I'm back to wearing 3 because, you know, Delta's real, though it's a great airline. But I tell you right now, and I don't just wear that mask for other people. It's like against them. I'm wearing it for them. One of the things I loved about the Asian culture is when someone was sick, they wore a mask before this pandemic started, because it's human decency and courtesy to try to protect your fellow person. I don't know why we lost that along with our minds in the last few years. More like a little bit more than 4. But still, it's like, I don't know why we've lost that sense of I want to help others, even though it's not for me, but it helps all of us. It's like the reason why I sucked at management, because I said in a management meeting one time, like a few weeks before we were all laid off, but I said, look, if I spent my time trying to make you look bad and me look good, and you try to make yourself look good and me look bad, we're all just looking bad. But if I try to make myself look good and I try to make you look good and you try to make me look good and then you try to make yourself look good, we're all looking good. Why is that so hard for humans to grasp in this society? I don't understand. It boggles my mind. It literally, I see people now and it's like, I see them. I'm in Houston, Texas. It's like, you know, send help. It's like, but it's ridiculous. It's like going to Walmart is a health hazard. I mean, it's always been a health hazard, but it's even worse now. People are not wearing masks. People are like going, and I'm just looking around, feeling like I'm Haley Oswald, like, I see dead people. You know, it's like, it's worse than a zombie. It's like watching a zombie movie and people fighting and having an affinity and trying to defend the zombies. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You have to help each other, even when there's nothing in it for you, because eventually one day you're going to want them to do that for you. It's like, so we need to do that in not just our communities, but globally. Wow, that was a long rant. I even forgot what the question was. I'm sorry. I rant too much. Okay, please continue.
Okay, as we are approaching 6, I think that was a great note to end on, knowing that we should help others just for the sake of it being right. That's especially relevant right now. So thank you for the great discussion and your advice on both how to approach life and careers, but then also giving us a deeper understanding of cybersecurity. We really appreciate it. And for everyone who has attended our event today, thank you so much. Mr. Jayson E has 2 books and numerous interviews, videos, articles about him. So you can make sure to check those out and the video we will post of this recorded session. And now we will be, yes, go ahead.
I want you to have that last word, but so that's why I want to interrupt you so you can still have it. But I just want to because I rambled so much and people were like probably joining, going like, this has nothing to do with why I was trying to get a job in information security. It's like, this guy's just being a life coach or something. It's like he caught me on a weird day. But to get more information on the job stuff, go to a website. I will write it in the chat. It's iRonin, IR0NIN.com, and it's IRONIN.com, and that has a getting started page. Started page, and that whole page is dedicated on. Oh, that was a direct message. I try to send it to everybody, but you can send it to everybody. It's like that getting started page is nothing but videos and resources on how to get information on cybersecurity jobs. with some videos of me actually staying on point and focused on talking about getting involved in information security and how to get a job in information security. So definitely check that out. That should help.
Okay, I believe that link has been posted in chat, and Anuj has also posted some other helpful links to our feedback forum, website, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that to stay updated. We do have more speaker events coming up, and we also have tryouts soon, so make sure to join those to stay updated. And thank you, Mr. Jayson E. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and have a great evening.
Bring it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring it.